Breaking news coming in, and we're hearing from the Ministry of Home Affairs that persons left out of the NRC final list will not be detained. Remember, the fear was that people whose names were not on the list, the final list of the National Registrar of Citizens that was brought out on Saturday, the fear was that they would be put in detention camps as their citizenship was under suspicion. Now the Ministry of Home Affairs has clarified that these people whose names are not on the NRC final list will not be detained. Let's get an Arunima on this story for us. Arunima, details please.
The reiteration of what we have been reporting for the last few months or so, that ultimately it's the foreigners tribunal which will decide who's a foreigner and who's not. Simply because your name is not there in the NRC final list does not affect your life. You have about 120 days time. Earlier this was 60 days, but then government came out with a notification extended it into about 120 days. So all those who have been left out, they have 120 days time to appeal to a foreigners tribunal. The catch, however, was that this process was expensive. If you go in for an appeal, it could cost you anything up to 50,000 rupees. If your appeal is rejected by the foreigners tribunal and you have to go all the way up to the higher levels of judiciary, your cost could be actually 2 lakh rupees or more. So the concern was that how will a poor person in Assam manage this kind of expense, to which the government came out with a plan to offer legal aid to people who seem genuine and whose names are not there in the NRC final list. So this we have been reporting source-based for the last few weeks or so. Now with the spokesperson of the Ministry of Home Affairs tweeting this out, this is the official word which MHA is now putting in the public domain.
Yes, Arunima, as you're speaking to us, we're also showing on our screens the tweets that have been put out by the spokesperson for the Ministry of Home Affairs. And part of this tweet is the information that 200 new foreigner tribunals will be functional from today, in addition to the 100 already existing. Also, Arunima, it's interesting that it's been, of course, 48 hours since that NRC list was put out. It's also a measure of the amount of panic that has spread since then, that the Home Ministry has gotten to this kind of a reassuring mode, really.
The panic is especially because people about whom everybody in their locality, in their vicinity, are 100% sure that they are not illegal immigrants. They are 100% Indians. Their fathers, their grandfathers, generations have been known to people in the locality. There are cases, even such names, somebody from the family has found his or her name missing in the NRC list. So that's also one of the reasons why everybody connected to this have hit the panic button, that this is not the way NRC was supposed to come out. It doesn't appear, error-free. Error-free and genuine NRC was one of the things that Assamese wanted. That, as per public perception, has not happened. Maybe that's one of the reasons why Ministry of Home Affairs had to step in and put to rest any panic that just because your name is not there in the final list, your employment, your right to live in India, or any other right that you enjoyed as an Indian citizen till the list came out, any of those rights will be affected. Ministry is clarifying that your life will continue as it was, and you have the time. You have 120 days time to go to the foreigners tribunal, file an appeal, and the government will provide legal aid to you. If it's a genuine case, you have nothing to worry.
So let me take up that point that you mentioned, Arunima, that the government will help with legal aid, because as we know, a large number among those 19 lakhs, the majority in fact includes needy people, and in fact the Home Ministry tweet specifically says that the state government has also made necessary arrangements to provide legal aid to the needy people amongst those excluded from the NRC final list by providing all assistance through the district legal services authorities. Now, Arunima, we are looking at a figure of 19 lakh people. As you were reporting on Saturday when that list came out, it's going to be about 50,000 rupees per head or so for legal fees for each case. Now, that adds up to a staggering amount of money.
It does, and that's why perhaps if the government appoints one legal team, if one prosecutor or one legal team is appointed to look after, to really look at the documents that these people have, to see where they faltered, then collectively perhaps the costs will come down. But the government has little option than to come out in support of these people. There are cases coming out where people are saying, I sold off my cattle because I didn't have enough money to travel to, far-flung areas where NRC hearings were happening, where I was supposed to go. I sold off my house, or I sold off my plot of land. So just to go to those NRC centers and prove their cases, people have already spent a lot of money. Now, to expect them to come out and spend more money on foreigners tribunal or on further appeals, government also realizes that this is going to be extremely difficult for a huge section of that 19 19 lakh. And because, like I said, it is coming to light now that a number of these, out of this 19 lakh, a number of people are those about whom everybody is saying that they are genuine Indians, and yet their names have been left out. How does the government really not care for them? And that's why when Home Minister met Sarvananda Sonowal, Chief Minister of Assam, before the NRC list came out, these were discussed, and the Home Ministry also impressed upon the state government that they must come out. Even before the NRC list came out, Sarvananda Sonowal did indicate that these steps were being taken. And now the ministry, spokesperson of the Ministry of Home Affairs, making it official with those tweets that yes, these steps are being taken. People should not panic. And just to add to this, on the 8th and 9th of September, Home Minister is visiting Guwahati. It is not an NRC-related visit. It's a visit for the Northeastern Council. It's a development-related meeting for all the Northeastern states. But because the meeting is in Guwahati, and because there is so much of anxiety in Assam, that visit assumes significance. There's bound to be NRC-related discussion when the Home Minister is there.
I was just about to come to that, Arunima. Amit Shah's visit to Guwahati on the 8th and 9th. Now, given that the Home Ministry has right now put out all these reassurances to the citizens and to those whose names are not on the list, it's a pretty political pickle as well that the government is looking at. The NRC dilemma has had the outcome that nobody on any side of the political divide is happy with the way it's turned out. It's left to the government now to handle the outcome. What are you picking up on this strategy of the Home Ministry and the BJP in this regard?
The BJP is in a catch-22 situation. In public rally after rally in the run-up to the 2019 general elections, the NRC was mentioned. Leaders from other states, for example, Manoj Tiwari here in Delhi, or Bengal BJP leaders in Bengal, or even leaders in Hyderabad, in Andhra, Telangana, leader after leader had said we will conduct NRC throughout the country. And when the test case of NRC in Assam has happened, it has not really gone the way BJP would have wanted it to go. Like I said, a lot of people who have been left out are people about whose ancestry, about whose being an Indian, anybody there in their locality can vouch for. These are people whom the BJP did not want targeted. Obviously, the religion angle is coming in. NRC doesn't count people based on their religion. But the fact is that a religion angle was brought in. Districts bordering Bangladesh, they have minimum exclusion rate, whereas tribal-dominated districts, say for example Karbi Anglong, maximum tribal population has very high rate of exclusion, whereas Dhubri on the border has very low rate of exclusion. So these kind of anomalies that have creeped in has made it very difficult for the Bharatiya Janata Party to now figure out what to do with the system of NRC, and that's why the talk of perhaps bringing in some kind of an ordinance or a legislation at a later stage to try and undo the damage that has been done.
Absolutely, Arunima. Thanks very much for that perspective there on that developing story in Assam. And NRC politics by no means limited to Assam alone. Days after the final Assam NRC list was published, now Bengal BJP chief Dilip Ghosh has called for an NRC drive in West Bengal, claiming that it's for the sake of the country's internal security. Now, he hit out at the Trinamool Congress, saying that if they weren't willing to bite the bullet, the BJP would take the reins and implement NRC in Bengal. Now, the final Assam NRC list, as we've been saying, left out 19 lakh people who have now less than 120 days left to file an appeal with the Foreigners Tribunal. Prema Rajaram, our Kolkata correspondent, is on the phone with us now. Prema, a bit of a risky challenge there from Dilip Ghosh to the Trinamool Congress, given that NRC isn't exactly playing out too well in Assam.
Since NRC is not playing out too well in Assam, this is a card that Mamata Banerjee is going to be using against the BJP government. She's going to be holding a rally on the 12th of September, and she has always opposed the NRC. And this time around, when about 19 lakh people have been left out of the final list of the NRC in Assam, the Mamata government will leave no stone unturned to intensify the protest. But on the other hand, BJP MP and State President Dilip Ghosh has said that the NRC will be implemented in Bengal, considering the fact that the BJP knows that they have a high chance of coming into power in the next assembly election in 2021. And after the NRC's implementation in Assam, the BJP is set to also implement it in Bengal. They have been making indications in the past as well. We saw them making some indications before the Lok Sabha elections, and this time around, they're reiterating the fact of implementing the NRC here. Back to you.
Prema Rajaram, thanks very much for the moment. We'll return now to another